Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time we're going to be talking about astronaut Cady Coleman.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
We're looking at excerpts from the first chapter of her book.
Okay.
She talks about all kinds of things, from waking up in space
Wow.
to the impact of Sally Ride.
Of course, the first American woman in space.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, her story is really interesting. Like, you have awe-inspiring stuff about space travel,
Right.
but then you also have this very human element, like finding your path, pushing boundaries, all that. It's really fascinating.
So did Cady always know she wanted to be an astronaut?
Well, she loved science,
Okay.
chemistry especially,
Uh-huh.
but she also wanted adventure,
I see.
and that's where Sally Ride comes in.
Okay.
So Cady was at MIT,
Right.
junior year, I think, and she saw this poster
Yeah.
for a talk by Sally Ride.
And that was like a turning point for her.
Oh, absolutely. Like a total game changer.
Wow.
I mean, think about it. She's studying chemistry at MIT. Yeah. And then she sees this woman
Right.
who's actually been to space. Like,
Yeah.
it really challenged her assumptions,
I bet.
probably without her even realizing it at first.
So Sally kind of gave her permission.
Yeah, it's like this unspoken permission
Yeah.
to even think about space as a possibility.
That's really interesting. How does Cady describe that feeling?
Well, she talks about how back then the astronaut ideal was like this very specific picture,
Right.
like a clean-cut white male figure.
Okay.
And even her dad, he was a pioneer in underwater exploration, worked in a very male-dominated world.
I see.
So for her to see Sally break that mold,
Yeah.
profound impact.
Wow. So it wasn't just seeing that it's possible,
Right.
but seeing someone you could relate to.
Exactly. And her book is really honest about those times.
Yeah.
Like, she tells the story
Yeah.
about how NASA engineers asked Sally Ride
Uh-huh.
about how many tampons to pack for a mission
Wow.
and if she would need a makeup kit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, pretty striking.
Yeah. It really shows you the biases back then.
Yeah.
Even in a field as advanced as space exploration.
Yeah.
So how did Sally respond to that?
Well, she didn't try to answer for all women.
Oh.
She emphasized individual needs. Like, we're all different.
Yeah.
Let's figure this out together as a group.
Oh, that's a really good approach.
Yeah, and Cady really admired that.
I bet.
Like, she saw Sally as a trailblazer, of course,
Yeah.
but also as a skilled scientist, totally dedicated to the mission and to her crew.
It's amazing how one person can have such a big impact.
Right.
So how did Cady go from that inspiration to actually living on the space station?
Well, of course, she had to do astronaut training,
Oh, right.
rigorous stuff. But before that, she served in the Air Force.
Really?
Yep. Gave her great experience in a really technical environment.
So she didn't go straight from MIT to NASA.
No.
Okay.
Her path wasn't a straight line.
Interesting.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, for sure.
So after the Air Force, she went and got her doctorate,
Wow.
polymer science and engineering.
Okay.
So she had the scientific expertise,
Yeah.
the military experience. And I
Yeah.
think that spark from Sally Ride,
Right.
and that all led her to NASA.
So she finally makes it to NASA, gets selected for a mission,
Yep.
blasts off into space.
It's amazing.
What was it like for her to actually live on the ISS?
She talks about waking up in space
Oh, wow.
and feeling weightless. It's surreal.
I can imagine.
Like, you open your eyes
Mhm.
and you're floating in the space station.
That's incredible.
She had to actually train herself to think about it as flying.
Not floating.
Yeah, because it changes your whole experience of moving around in zero gravity.
Wow. I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
What else does she say about life up there?
Well, there are unique challenges,
Like what?
like sleeping untethered, just tucked into a sleeping bag.
Really?
Yeah, and she mentions some less glamorous stuff, too. Uh-huh.
Like the sound of the space toilet. It uses suction,
Oh.
Not exactly glamorous.
Haha. I guess even astronauts have to deal with plumbing issues.
Right. But then she also describes looking down at Earth
Yeah.
from the cupola. That's the observation module.
Okay.
She felt like she was surfing over the surface because the ISS is going 17,500 miles per hour.
That is mind-blowing.
Right. The entire planet just whizzing by.
Did she ever have time to just appreciate the view?
She talks about stealing moments to look out the window,
Yeah.
just soaking it all in.
I love that.
And she realized that everyone down on Earth was going about their lives,
Right.
totally oblivious to her up there.
Wow. That must have given her a whole new perspective.
It did. That's what we'll talk about in the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore how her experiences shaped her outlook on the world.
Awesome. I can't wait. So we've heard about Caddy's path to becoming an astronaut, an amazing inspiration from Sally Ride, and, some of those incredible and some not so glamorous parts of living on the ISS. Yeah, it's quite a mix.
But what was she actually doing up there in space? What kind of work?
Well, one thing that really comes across in her book
Yeah.
is that she's a scientist first and foremost.
Okay.
And she was involved in a ton of research.
What kind of stuff? Can you give us some examples?
Sure. So one area was studying the effects of microgravity on plant growth.
Oh, wow. Like space gardening?
Exactly. It's not easy.
I bet.
She also studied how fluids behave differently in zero gravity.
Interesting.
Yeah, that has implications for all sorts of things. New materials, understanding the human body in space.
So it's like space gardening in zero-G physics.
Pretty much. And her research wasn't just theoretical either.
Okay.
It had practical applications back here on Earth.
Like what?
Well, for example, some of her work on fluid dynamics, it's being used to develop new drug delivery systems.
Wow, so she's up there orbiting the planet.
Yeah.
And at the same time contributing to scientific advancements.
That could help people down here. It really shows you how space exploration is connected to our everyday lives.
Right. And beyond the specific experiments, her time on the ISS gave her this unique perspective.
Oh, yeah. About how?
On humanity as a whole.
Okay.
She talks about looking down at Earth and realizing
Yeah.
that despite all our differences,
Yeah.
we're all sharing this tiny little planet, hurtling through space.
That's a powerful image. How did that experience affect her outlook?
Well, it definitely made her more passionate
About
inclusivity and breaking down barriers.
I see.
In her book, she says that if we can overcome the challenges of space travel, work together to build a space station as a global community, then we should be able to tackle the problems we face down here.
It sounds like she came back with a real sense of purpose.
She did, and she's become a big advocate
For
STEM education, especially encouraging young people,
Okay.
and especially young women.
To pursue their dreams. Yeah, exactly. She's involved in a bunch of initiatives to increase diversity in STEM.
So she's taking that idea of permission, the one she got from Sally Ride, and paying it forward, creating opportunities for the next generation.
Exactly. And she really believes that having people from different backgrounds with different perspectives, it's essential for innovation and progress.
Makes sense. You bring diverse minds together, you get more creative solutions.
Right. And a richer understanding of the world.
It's like her research on the ISS, different disciplines coming together to solve problems.
It's a great analogy. And, it's not about quotas or checking boxes.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that each person brings something unique to the table.
Right.
And that by being inclusive, we unleash the full potential of humanity.
I love that. So what is Cady actually doing to create those opportunities, to foster that culture?
Well, one thing she emphasizes is mentorship.
Yeah.
And role modeling. She makes a real effort to share her story with young people, especially.
Yeah.
Connect with them. Show them that anything's possible.
That's so important. To actually see someone who's achieved what you dream of.
Right. It's like, if she can do it, maybe I can too.
Exactly.
And she doesn't just talk about it. She's actually involved.
Well, in what way?
In programs that connect students with mentors in STEM.
Okay.
She visits schools, gives talks, participates in outreach programs.
All to get people excited about science and space.
Exactly.
It seems like her journey has come full circle.
It really has. And what's inspiring is that she believes everyone can play a role.
In fostering inclusivity.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be something huge.
Right.
It can be as simple as encouraging someone.
Yeah.
Connecting them with resources. Believing in them.
That takes us back to where we started.
To permission.
Yeah. We all have the power to give that permission.
It's true.
To help others believe in themselves. Yeah.
And pursue their dreams. And, Cady also talks about the importance of storytelling.
Okay, how does that fit in?
She believes that sharing our stories, our struggles, our triumphs, it can have a big impact. It helps others feel seen, heard, understood.
And it can inspire them.
Absolutely, to overcome challenges and follow their passions.
So by sharing her story, Cady's not just telling us about space travel.
Right.
She's giving us a roadmap for our own dreams and for creating a better world.
That's a great way to put it. And in the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore some key takeaways from our story and how we can apply those to our own lives.
We've heard about Cady's incredible journey to space And, all her work to make STEM more inclusive.
It's really inspiring.
It is. And one thing that stuck with me is this idea of permission.
Oh, yeah. How Sally Ride kind of gave Cady that permission to pursue her dreams.
Exactly. And it makes me wonder how we could do that for others.
It's a good question. I think it starts with realizing we all have the power to influence people.
Even in small ways.
Yeah, definitely. Like sometimes it's just a word of encouragement or sharing our own experiences,
Just being there for someone.
Right. Like planting a seed.
I like that. You never know what might inspire someone to take a chance, to follow their passions.
And Cady also talks about challenging our own assumptions, our biases.
Oh, right. We might not even realize the limitations we put on ourselves.
Or on other people. Until someone comes along and breaks those barriers.
It's true. You can't be what you can't see.
Exactly.
Representation is so important. We need to create a world where everyone feels valued, empowered.
To reach their full potential. And think about what Cady accomplished.
Yeah, her research on the ISS.
Right. Studying plants in microgravity, the behavior of fluids in space.
It sounds so out there, but it has real applications.
Absolutely. It could benefit everyone.
It shows that exploration and inclusion go together. When everyone has a chance to contribute, amazing things can happen.
And it's not just about space travel,
Okay.
It's about that same spirit. Curiosity, collaboration, determination.
Yeah.
Bringing those to the challenges we face here on Earth.
Like climate change.
Yeah.
Or medical research. Even just building stronger communities.
Exactly. It starts with embracing diversity, challenging the status quo, and believing in each other.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Cady Coleman's story, I think the message is clear.
What's that?
We all have the power to make a difference.
I agree.
Whether it's mentoring someone, advocating for inclusivity, or just sharing our own stories to inspire others. Every action counts.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us on this journey. It's been